We're going to keep it to a tight 25. That's the first thing to say.
I think so.
We're going to aim to not get carried away.
Concise.
Yeah.
Concise is the key word. So welcome to We Will Write Your Favourite Song. I think we're 3 episodes deep
Episode
now.
3, yes. We've made it this far.
Yeah. Fortnightly is how we usually release these episodes, and hopefully this will be no different. So if you've been watching in the past, thank you very much for coming back to us a third time. If you haven't, you'll be confused by this
Possibly, yeah. But instead of us doing a recap, we'll just say, go and watch the previous episodes to keep up with the story so far, which isn't much of a story, let's be honest.
No, but it's hopefully you'll find it whimsical.
Yeah.
And you'll find the link on your screen sometime soon. But in the meantime, episode 3, we had some big plans last week.
I think we did, yeah. The week before, yeah. And a curious thing has happened that I will start by telling you about.
Tell me.
Going off on a tangent that we hadn't planned. So that tight 25 may already be becoming a loose 40. However, I've written a song with somebody since we last met, and a piano player.
Okay.
Well, actually, she's a piano teacher, so she's got like grade 8 piano.
She sounds very good.
Which is pretty much about as high as you can go. And as my son said when I was telling him that we were writing together, he said, right, so you've got someone with grade 8 piano and you. And I went, yeah, thanks for your undying support.
They're great levelers, aren't they, children?
Yeah. You're just telling me what my internal monologue has been telling me all week. However, but yeah, and what was great was, because we, a bit like you and I have been talking about, do we start with some chords? Do we start with them? How do we go about this? And in the end, I kind of said, well, look, if you can come up, because she can just come up with anything. So I said, if you come up with something that you like, I'll record it and I'll take it away and I'll listen to it and I'll come up with the lyrics and melody over the top. So we decided to do it. She then sat down and wrote this beautiful thing that went off in about 4 different directions. And I thought it's quite interesting because we talked about it, didn't we? About how we start writing a song. Does it just come with something or a melody? And I kind of realised how sort of simple / lazy a lot of mine are, because they're very, like the one I played to you last time, very, very simple chords. Because I think in my head, I'm just playing the guitar bit and there will be other instruments coming in over the top of it. So what I do can be quite simple. Now, that might just be an excuse for me not getting better at the guitar and putting more effort into the songs. But having to write with someone who can really give it all these flourishes, and it's almost like a musical theatre piece because it goes in different directions. So I really had to think about what I was doing and come up with different melodies. And it was a real challenge, and I really did enjoy it. But what I did notice was, just from us having these conversations on these podcasts, that it was making me think about what I was doing more.
A little bit more aware of...
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I was sort of thinking, like when I'm sitting in the car listening to this song for the 18th time and obsessing over 3 or 4 words at a time, I'm sort of having our conversations in the background.
What would Paul say?
What would Paul think? Yeah. But it is, because we've discussed that thing, haven't we? The person I've been writing this song with, we had that discussion as well of, okay, you come from a trained background.
Yeah.
So you're thinking about musically what would be next perfect, and you think there should be more notes in it. And I, as I think we alluded to before, it is completely feeling with me.
It's more intrinsic.
It's just, and it's really strange. And there's almost a bit of me that thinks, by writing with other people who are musically better than me, am I going to lose the only way I know how to write songs? If that, it's just it's weird.
I know what you mean, but I don't think so. I certainly hope not. We should say grade 8 is basically what, like black belt.
I don't think you can go any higher than grade 8,
belt,
basically, yeah. You're right, yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
And as you were describing, so you would come in with like the melody and the lyrics over top of the body of the music.
Yeah.
Which I think in the biz is called a top liner.
Okay.
So you'd have people like Calvin Harris, they would write effectively a backing track, and then someone like Sia would come in and she'd write, Chandelier or whatever, or Titanium. Yeah. And she'd be known as the top line because she's just bringing in, I say just, for me, that's the most difficult bit really, but yeah, apparently.
I am top line Greg.
Yeah, Greg
well,
the top line.
That's a good thing, and it's one of the things that I might have thought I couldn't do, because I've never written a song that way myself. I've never really completed something with chords and then gone, okay, now I'll come up with something. It's either the lyrics and chords have come at the same time, or there's already been a melody in my head and I've found the chords to fit it. I've never done it that way around, where someone goes, okay, here's a bit of music, come up with something.
It is tricky, isn't it?
But it's quite nice to know that I can do it.
Yeah.
I might not be able to do it well, but
sure.
Interestingly as well, a bit like us, she was blown away that I'd been able to do that, whereas I was just going, but you're the one that did all the work. Because from scratch, you came up with this almost like a piano suite. And I've just put stuff over the top of it, which is the easy bit.
We still don't know where we're going to start because I think we're still committed to everything that the song will become will be kind of formulated
in this little cupboard
here,
effectively,
in one of these episodes. Greg and I aren't working on anything outside of these episodes, otherwise we might already have something to show you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to come in and go, oh look, I've got these 4 chords I've been playing with, can we come up with something? We're going to do it all from scratch.
Yeah, we really want this to be completely organic from the ground up, right before your very eyes and ears. I did think of something, actually. I can't remember what the song was we were talking about in the last episode, but it brought me on to something called non-lexical vocables.
Okay.
Yeah, which is basically like little nonsense words, like in... it's different to scatting, so it wouldn't be something that perhaps Louis Armstrong or Ella Fitzgerald does. That's something slightly different, but non-lexical vocables would be like... I'm struggling to think of an example now, but perhaps like Van Morrison, Jackie Wilson said.
Yeah.
It's a lyric that doesn't have any kind of... Or a really good one. This is a really good one. Lionel Richie, All Night Long.
Right, yes.
There's a breakdown bit.
Yeah.
Tumbasi melempioya. Hey, jumbo jumbo. Yeah, that's absolute nonsense. He wanted something that would fit in there, but I think he ran out of time to find a good language.
You've told me quite a few. I know it's the whistling one, wasn't it? It's Otis Redding, the whistling.
On
was
the Dock
never
of the
supposed
Bay.
to be a whistling solo.
No, it was another verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was using it as a placeholder, but unfortunately, he died. Which is inconvenient.
Slightly sad ending to the story.
Yeah. So
I was hoping you were going to say, they just decided we're not getting anything better than that. We're keeping that
that's
in.
also true.
He's gone and died on us. What do we do now?
It's inconvenient.
Because I remember hearing quite recently, I can't remember the song, but it was a Phil Collins demo of one of his own songs. And the tune is there, the melody's there, but he's literally just going, so he actually gets the tune. Right. The melody is absolutely right, and then he fits the words to it.
I think that seems quite common in very successful people, like George Michael. He'll go into a recording studio with almost no ideas, and do that. He'll just scat and babble until he comes up with something, and he can kind of form a song around, the phrase "Jesus to a child," I believe, came out of that same process. And he just thought, "Oh, that's an interesting concept." Yeah. So, where will we start?
This is the thing. The other thing I think that maybe do we have to decide what the end is going to be before we decide?
That's a good point.
Because we talked about how we're going to judge whether
horses
it's a
for
song.
Courses. Yeah.
So, are we going to try and create something that we can perform live that people will like to see live, like with a bit of a sing-along bit, or
that would be nice.
Or are we going to try and record something that's really quite gentle and beautifully produced? Because that might actually influence where we start. Or do we just go, we aren't that clever, let's just see what we come up with?
I mean, it's worth having in mind. I wonder what people would want to experience. What would you want to hear and or see? It probably would. I definitely think it would encourage the process, the progress of it. Like once we've got something, it would then inform how we then progress it, I think.
Yeah, because strangely enough, one of the few songs I've written that's really fast, which is called Hey, 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 Yeah, Yeah, Yeah.
Oh, I like it already.
I've recently started... Well, you haven't heard it, so let's leave it at that then, and you can enjoy the title. But I actually recently, and I can't remember why it happened, but I started playing it really slowly. And so when I've been at a couple of open mic nights and other gigs, I've done it that way, and it's gone down really well.
Nice.
But then my friend Justin, who was the first person to hear it, and he used to play drums for it when we did it together, hates it because he went, but it's... And part of it is shout it from the rooftop. And you're not shouting it from the rooftop, Greg. You're just, and I've gone, I know, but it just kind of, it seems to work better that way.
I quite like that, to reinterpret your own. It's something I've never tried or thought of really, of how would I do my own material differently.
Well, I think maybe I've run out of ideas. So I'm just going, do you know what, let's move the capo a little bit and try something. I did do it as well. I've got a song called I Woke Up in Love with You that I've always played with the capo on the second fret.
Right.
And doing a really simple guitar bit over the top of it. And I recently lost my capo. It turned out it was in the car where I'd already searched 4 or 5 times, but let's not talk about that and how worrying that is. I've been trying to, I'm not very good at finger picking at all. I can't do it very well. And I thought, I'm just going to have a go at it. And I got given a really good tip by a guy who's a guitarist that I know. And I just sat at home and I thought, I haven't got a capo, so I can't play that one. And then I went, let's just try. And I tried it, and it seems to suit my voice now, like 15 years after writing it, in a completely different key.
I'm going to take a moment to explain capos briefly.
Yes,
so, as a guitarist, you would play certain chords, but then if you wanted to change the key, i.e. bring it into a higher range, you would use a capo which pinches the strings at certain points and then increases the tone. So not only would you use that to change the key, but also you could change the key and then play different chords, so you still end up in the same key, but because you're using different strings, you get a slightly different sound. And as a non-guitarist, that's my very basic explanation.
Very nicely put, yeah. And it means people like me who have only ever learnt the basic chords, it opens up a whole new set of chords to you, because you're still using the same finger patterns, but you've actually, with the capo attached to the neck of the guitar, you're changing a lot of the chords that you're playing.
But I mean, you're being self-effacing there, but I see a lot of very successful professional guitarists using capos. And I think also if you're playing with another guitarist, you can be playing the same song in the same key, but if you're using a capo and the other guitarist is not, you're getting different sounds and a more fuller spectrum, I suppose.
Yeah, which is something my son and I recently have been learning a favourite song of my other son's, and that's the same. When we watched a tutorial that the band did themselves, so I'm playing with just open strings, 3 chords, and then he's got capo on like the 6th fret.
Oh, okay.
And he's playing, but it sounds great. He
must run out of space.
Small fingers.
Yeah, right.
The other good thing about the capo as well is if like me, I just play little things on my own. Well, if you're just playing a guitar on your own for an hour, singing in the same key, it does get a bit samey.
Yeah.
Here's a fast one, here's a slow one, but it just creates a slightly different sound. So you put a capo on and you play it with finger picking instead of strumming.
It's a bigger playground.
And all of a sudden, you're just getting a slightly different sound to it, I think.
Nice.
It's little tricks I'm learning to cover up the fact that I'm not very good at this stuff.
Well, I don't think that's true.
But for those of you watching, that's an example of what a capo looks like.
And how much would that cost? About £15, £20?
Yeah, round about that.
Yeah, from all good guitar stockers, such as Lister's guitars in the old high street of Lowestoft. I'd highly recommend Lister's guitars. One thing I was thinking about was the kind of theme that we might explore, because I think when it comes to people's favourite songs, love songs really, I mean, they're right up there, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
It's a very universal language. And I've always believed that to be a great song, the songwriter needs to make it personal enough that we believe it,
right?
But universal enough that people can project their own lives and identities onto that experience. Is that something you would agree with?
I would agree with that, yeah. And I think... go on.
So, obviously, everyone can relate to a love story or a love song, whether it be heartbreak or, something new and exciting, that kind of thing. Or I Just Can't Stop Loving You by Michael Jackson, that kind of... which he didn't write, but made it sound as if he had.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the predominant theme, but I don't know if that's what we want from our song, because it's very predictable.
I suppose, yeah. What are the ones that stand out? It is songs for weddings, songs for funerals, Christmas songs.
Yeah.
I mean, as we're recording this, I don't mind placing it in time. It's April something, middle of April.
Yeah,
towards the end of April. So we've got time to get something out for Christmas. However, that wouldn't necessarily be what I would be aiming for.
No, perhaps in a future podcast we will write your favourite Christmas song.
Next year's project. There we are. But yeah, I suppose love songs are the... I think for most people, I would guess for most people, if you listed their favourite songs, it would have love as the theme.
I suppose.
And I suppose a huge amount of songs that are written are based in love and romance, or
I mean, you mentioned funeral songs. The top song is My Way,
right? Okay.
Which isn't. I mean, that's a very interesting. It's a story song, isn't it? And it's effectively a folk song, really. Originally a French song called Le Comme d'habitude. Yeah, and that's the most popular funeral song.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing, because I like story songs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
but does it make them impersonal? and therefore not someone's favourite song.
That's a very difficult thing to do. Write a story song that I said,
everybody.
Yeah,
because I was going to say it's that thing about putting names in songs as well, which I have done. But if you're writing a song about someone and you name them, it takes away the possibility that it could be about anybody else.
Although Hey Jude, which was originally Hey Jules, because it was written
Julian Lennon,
exactly, but or Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But again,
they're more, I mean, I wrote a song called Hannah.
Okay.
And the reason, to bore you with this, the reason it's called Hannah is that I was going through every possible name I could think of, and none of them would scan into the lyrics that I'd written. And I hadn't written it about anyone in particular. I had just written it as a song about someone that changes your life. Yeah. And I wanted it to have a name. And then I was working in the shop at the time, and my friend came in, and my reaction startled both of them, and I don't think they ever recovered. But he walked in and went, I just thought, are you on your lunch break? We thought we'd come in and say, oh, brilliant, this is my friend Hannah. And I went, that's it. Yes, thank you. And she just stared at me as if to say, why have you brought me in to meet this lunatic? This is your friend that you keep saying is really funny and clever. And he's thrown. So, and that's it straight away. Like, Hannah fits in. But I do wonder sometimes if does it then make people think it is about someone I know called Hannah? Which, spoiler, it isn't. But I do wonder if you put names in songs. Which I suppose is that going back to the Beautiful South song for whoever, which was basically a song about that, 20. Wasn't it?
There's another example of that, and I can't think what it is. But
I'm trying to think of it. Someone else has written a song that's about a generic love song about your eyes are sort of a bluish green grey colour. I can't remember that was now, but because it's making that point of that the record company has said you have to write a love song. And it has to be you singing to an indiscriminate person so that everybody at home, in this case, I think it was teenage girls, can go, that song could be about me. Yeah. And so he did it as a sort of fingers up to the record company going, this is what they're trying to make me do.
There's some lovely examples of writers saying, I'm not going to do that. Are you familiar with Sarah Bareilles? She had a song called...
I'm not going to write you a love song.
Yeah, which was literally written to Simon Cowell.
Right, okay.
Because his company had signed her and she'd presented some things and he had said, no, just, Sarah, for God's sake, give me a love song. Yeah. And she didn't have any. And so she wrote, I'm not going to write you a love song. Yes, and obviously from the lyric point of view, it sounds very much like I'm not going to fall in love with you. I'm not going to write you. Yeah. But as far as I understand it, it's a statement to... stick it to the man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then it was probably her most successful hit, which she probably doesn't like very much. I've set myself a challenge of writing a blues song about hating the blues. I thought that would be funny. Yeah. I probably won't ever get around to doing it, but that's a little challenge I've set myself.
That would be great. I like a little bit of blues. Old style Delta blues, yeah. So there's a couple of things. So do we make
it a blues song?
That would be nice.
I know someone needs to play... the blues quite well, rather than me just hitting a few chords.
There's also, I mean, going back to story songs, and I don't mean to get mired down in this, but story songs I love are like Patches by Clarence Carter, I think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's some. Oh, it's heart wrenching. And then there's the Diana Ross one about a love child.
Right. Yes.
And there's a beautiful lyric in there. About how she went to school wearing very sort of poor clothes, ripped and mended, because that was what they could afford. And the line is, I was so afraid that my friends would see the guilt in me. That feeling of feeling guilty to be so poor, that shame, the stigma of that. And it was just, I don't think Diana Ross wrote it, but that hit me like a brick, that line.
And I think again, that's another thing of I'm not a huge fan of really simple lyrics. Like, oh, I love you, you make me feel great, please be mine. But if you get too complicated and too clever with it, you can kind of alienate people going, why is he singing about like tulips with slugs on? I don't get it. What's this? What is this?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's finding that middle bit. Well, like you say, so you say something like that will connect with somebody. And again, I think without... not accusing people of being lazy, but without them having to do too much work. That's the thing. I think we have to do the work so that you don't have to when you listen to it.
That's a really good way to put it. And I know a lot of people that I engage with, perhaps in choirs or whatnot, they often say, Well, I just used to sing it when it was on the radio. I had no idea it was about that.
Yeah. And again, it's that thing, do you write about stuff you know? I mean, because I do a bit of writing, not just songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done this with song. I think that feeds into songwriting because that song again, I Woke Up in Love with You, is a story. And someone asked, I said, I can remember the night I wrote that. And someone said to me, do you want to talk about it? As if it was like, okay, that song is showing.
Right.
And I went, no, the song wasn't about a night that I had. It was about a conversation I had with somebody. And then this tune got stuck in my head and these words started falling into place. So I made up the story about this couple that met in a bar.
Nice.
And that's what the song is about, but it's sung in the first person. But that's not about anything that happened to me. And then they got quite confused about it and went, well, it doesn't sound the same now.
I mean,
So,
ultimately...
okay, I'm never going to explain that again when I play it to people.
Yeah.
But
You
it's
have
that
to be
thing
careful.
of, do we create a character and a scenario that we write a song about? Or will it sound
An
more
everyman.
authentic and genuine if we're writing about stuff that we've been through?
But then writing as a partnership, that makes it that much more difficult to
This
do.
is the thing, yeah.
There are other songs and themes such as like political statements,
Yes, yeah.
protest songs.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the novelty song, like Lily the Pink,
Right, yeah.
Bob the Builder, things like.
Anything with a the in the middle.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Someone, the something.
Yeah.
Well, there were loads of the chicken song.
Yeah.
I mean, like party songs were a big thing, weren't they? And like "Oops Upside Your Head" and stuff like that that people bought to play.
I absolutely hate that.
The spitting image was the chicken song, wasn't it? There was a load when there was a whole slew of them. Black Lace made a career of
like Agadoo, yeah.
all those kind of sing-along things. But
yeah, I mean, forgive me,
we're not trying to write the new Macarena. That's what you're trying to say.
I mean, even the Macarena has got some credibility to it. It's probably originally some Spanish or Italian, like folk song probably, and I don't hate it, but the novelty songs just there's no room in my life.
Okay,
for
the
those.
message I'm getting is we won't be writing your favourite novelty song.
I mean, that would be quite the challenge for me. I'd give it a go, but I'd prefer not to.
Yeah, for me, we'd have to do like a nonsense Mickey taking version of it, I think, which would probably end up being
the novelty
successful.
of a novelty
song.
song.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, the novelty.
It's funny.
So I mean, the anti-blues song. I mean,
yeah, I feel that's got some real merit to that.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but my tastes as a listener has changed quite a lot since I was a kid. Yeah. For instance, going back to songs I didn't like, Rupert Holmes,
Escape,
the Pina Colada song, Escape. Thank you for
which was never called the Pina Colada song.
But
then they had to add it into it because that's all anyone called it, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays for SEO, search engine optimization, you could not name it the Escape. You'd have to name it the Pina Colada song. But songs like that I used to really dislike as a kid, but now, especially as a story song, I can really appreciate it a lot more with a little bit of maturity.
And this is the thing as well, is it going to be an instant impact song so that people will like it and play it to death, but then in 2 years' time we'll have forgotten about it?
Like everything I do it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be happy with that level of success.
Or is it going to be, we're going to aim for longevity with this. So we're not going to jump on recent trends of short chorus straight into the verse, whatever the current trend is at the time you're listening to this. We're just going to we're going to write something that we think is good and hopefully it'll stand the test of time.
And be authentic with it.
Yeah, I think that is the key word that we might print out and pin up behind us as we progress.
I mean, we might even flash it on the screen now. But there's a song by Coldplay, Yellow. I don't know if you've heard. I hated that. The first few times I heard it, I remember I was watching Jo Wiley. She used to have a TV show where they discuss it. I couldn't stand it at all. But after about 3 or 4 listens, I really liked it. The whole album really grew on me quickly.
They're a band that I've never... It's similar to... I think I've said this to you before about ABBA, which is... There's maybe one ABBA song that I can bear to listen to. The rest I don't like. Well, but I can 100% appreciate how good those songs are. I just don't like them. The production on it, the songwriting, the piano playing, everything. I mean, they are superb. And they are as good now as they were then. But I just don't like them. And I feel a bit like that with Coldplay. I've never, apart from The Scientist, which is the one song of theirs that really hit with me, I can just go, Okay, it's another Coldplay song, and that's, but again, that's I can understand they are probably the biggest band of the last 10 years consistently. I know people have been to see them live and say it's been the best concert they've ever. I can appreciate all that. I think he's got a stunning voice, and I think he writes beautiful things.
Yeah,
but they just don't connect with me, and I can't.
It's fair enough. In regard to ABBA, what I think, looking back, was even more impressive is they were writing those lyrics in a second language. Yeah. Which is impressive, because there's some good lines in there. Yeah. I should say, actually, not a lot of people know, they're not all written by Benny and Bjorn. Some of their big hits are completely external songwriters.
Yeah, and they went from, I know they'd been around before Eurovision, but they kind of went from no one knows who we are to, we've just written some of the biggest songs of the decade.
Wouldn't it be incredible to have? I mean, they're era defining. A couple of those,
very much so. Yeah,
they're kind of epochs, if that's the right word. They couldn't possibly have known at the time how what an impact.
I mean, if you think like Waterloo, which I think was their first hit, right?
And the Eurovision.
Yeah. Entry. So it's a love song written in their second language about like comparing a love situation to a battle that happened over 200 years ago. Yeah. I mean, what part of them thought this is a winning combination? And that's I suppose that's the other thing is, would we know would we sit here and come up with something and be able to go, we've smashed it out of the park, people are going to love this? Because I can't imagine anyone ever does. You can't ever know.
I'd love that ego, though. I'd love to have that ego, even if I was proven wrong.
I do know people who would think that, whatever they came up with, but I wouldn't be doing a podcast with them because I couldn't bear to be in the same room as them. So.
It's tricky. There wouldn't be... This is as small as it looks, I think.
Pretty much, yeah. And you might, I suppose we should mention the fact that you might be hearing noise coming from an adjoining studio.
Yeah, hopefully we can isolate those
just
frequencies.
There is a what sounds like a quite heavy dance lesson going on.
I think so.
Or a big rehearsal.
I may even join them in a minute. But that's a good moment to say thank you to our sponsor, the Seagull Theatre in Lowestoft. It's a community theatre, and they have a very packed and varied program of events, which include community classes,
a lot of community stuff,
as well as some wonderful big productions on their stage. So thank you to them for providing us the space and the resources to do this.
Yeah. Because I mean, the thing is, are we going to share lyric writing duty and music? Are you just wanting me to sit with the acoustic
I think it'd be nice to share. Could I challenge you to something here and now?
Yeah, okay.
And that would be, before we actually cut, could we put the guitar in your hands? Because what might be nice is to see what's your go-to chord.
All right. Okay.
And the reason is, perhaps it'd be good a moment to explain key signatures. For instance, if you...
While you explain that, I will
please do.
Set guitar.
For instance, some people stick to certain key signatures because they might find those chords comfortable to play on a guitar or a piano. Other people more often will stick to a certain key signature because they know it fits their vocal range.
Yep.
So, for instance... we haven't even really sung together. So if you sing a range that I can't really get anywhere near to,
that's a really good point. Yeah. That we might not. We might have to decide to write for one of us to sing. I would instantly pick you because I think you've got a much better voice than me.
Well, I'll take that compliment.
But the other side of that is, though, you can also harmonise. You know how to work out harmonies and do them, and I don't think I can do that. Although you could work them out and teach me.
I think we're basically the next Simon and Garfunkel, aren't we? So what's your go-to?
I guess I use G a lot.
G is nice,
yeah. Because, like you said, it's automatic the way my hand goes when I pick the guitar up. And from there, you can sort of do quite a lot of. And then there's like E minor goes with it very well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, I think you can do, because you can do it. I mean, that's basically a D, isn't it? So you can only move when I'm concentrating on my voice, you can just move a couple of fingers around and play lots of different things.
F.
Whereas if you start, trying to do stuff with C minor, C sharp minor, I think that is, and things, and all this, putting your fingers up there and stuff, I find it. But again, it's that thing because I haven't got the musicianship. So I'm sure people with even grade 2 guitar. And I think David Gilmour, I've seen he is very much.
He's incredibly technically gifted. Yeah.
Rather than just going, I'll twiddle around with my fingers and see what sounds good. He's very much, okay, I've done that bit already. Now I need to take it. See, I don't even know the terms to use.
Well, I think my basic understanding of chords is you could play a certain chord, and then when you play the seventh, which is basically you're adding the seventh note in the scale to the chord, it kind of gives you a gateway into the next chord. Is that how you would?
I think because for example, right, that's C and that's C7,
and then the next chord that would come from that
would be, I don't know.
Exactly.
F,
yeah. That C7 just gives you a really nice transition into another place.
I'm thinking of a couple of Disney songs that do that.
Oh, right.
Where they use C and then drop in C7, like Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Uses a lot of sevens.
Yeah.
Which I suppose creates that sort of certain sound of.
And it's kind of a travelling kind of feel.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's those little things you can do that. Well, I say you, not me, but those little things other people can do where you can just throw in a couple of little. Mm-hmm. Move your finger one string down and only hit that string, and it just gives it a little step into another chord. Yeah,
it catches the ear. A lot of these things are mechanisms. They're devices for an audience to hear. Yeah. One, to be more interesting, but also sometimes you're trying to create a slightly different atmosphere in a very short amount of time, aren't you?
And there's all things like dissonance on the piano, isn't it, where you play two notes right next to it. There's all little things like that as well. And again, this is... I'm going to tell you right now, I may end up hating you by the end of these podcasts because I'm already noticing things that I wouldn't normally notice. And what I think that we've said, the difference between us is that you can listen to something and you can hear what almost every instrument is doing and every voice is doing, and you know the technique behind it. Whereas I just kind of feel that. And I think maybe my experience of music is different to yours because I can just listen to it and get lost in it completely. And I almost feel like I'm already, and it's not just your fault, you know, there's a piano player to blame for this as well. But I'm noticing things like that of going, oh yeah, they chucked in a bit of dissonance there. And I'm quite proud of myself for noticing it. But then I think, okay, I'm starting to notice now.
Does that detract from behind the enjoyment? Yeah. I mean, for me, that's a lot of that is the kicks for me.
Yeah, because when someone does it well, you're able to go, yeah. I mean, I think it was my sister had the conversation with about being in plays and stuff. She said, can you ever go and watch a play in the theatre and just watch it like a play? And I went, no, because I know too much about how they're written and how they're... But that means that if I do get sucked into it and lost in it, it's really, really good.
Wow, yeah.
Because I know what they're doing, but I'm still enjoying it. And I imagine that's what you're trying to say. It's the same sort of thing for you. If you notice something in a song, you're going to go, oh, wow, they did that beautifully.
Yeah.
Whereas I would just feel the emotion without realising they'd done it through dissonance. Next time out, enough of the waffle. It's time for some work.
Yeah. And commitment.
Yeah. Authenticity, dissonance. And that's our starting point. And it's good. Are we kind of steering towards a love song, do you think? Is that kind of the way we're going to try and come up with... Because we had the conversation, not getting into like recent personal events, but I remember explaining to you before about that when like you were saying about writing something personal that connects with people. The love songs that I've written that are about heartbreak, I wrote when I was in love. And the best songs I've written about being in love were written when I was on my own.
So will we make a start in episode 4?
I think episode 4 is when the magic begins.
Okay.
We start stirring the cooking pot.
We may even start episode 4 with a guitar.
Let's just get into it and give it a go. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have a notepad or something in front of us to chuck some stuff down with. So I suppose we could challenge any ideas that you want to throw our way.
Yeah, we'd love that, actually. We'd love you to like and subscribe these episodes, which you'll find currently on YouTube. And you're able, once you like and subscribe, you're able to comment and send us a message effectively, perhaps have some input into which direction we take it.
Yeah, a line you've once thought of that you've never done anything with. That sounds like we want to steal people's stuff. But if there's an inspiration somewhere or a particular life story that you think would be interesting to hear a song about.
Yeah, or even if you just wanted to say in those comments, I like these songs because, I like The Sound of Silence because of the story that tells, or these are the love songs I like, or I like these songs even though when I then looked at the lyrics, they meant something very different to what I expected.
That's a really good point, because we're sitting here chatting about what does constitute someone's favourite song. it would be nice for people to tell us.
Yeah. So do tell us. Like and subscribe. Send us a comment. And we hope you have a fantastic week. We'll see you in a fortnight.